Mom sneered. "You'll never be as good as your sister." Her words sliced through the air like glass. The teacup in my hand trembled, spilling hot liquid across my fingers, but I didn't flinch. I'd grown used to the sting, both emotional and physical. I forced a smile, though my throat burned. "Then maybe," I said quietly, "you should ask her to pay the next bill." Mom blinked, momentarily caught off guard, then scoffed and turned away, pretending to fuss with the dishes. The faint sound of the faucet running couldn't mask the silence that followed, thick, suffocating, and loud enough to swallow years of unsaid words. It was always about my sister, Lila. Perfect, golden Lila, the daughter who could do no wrong. She was the kind of person who entered a room and drew every eye. Smart, confident. The one who married rich, drove a silver Mercedes, and sent Mom luxury skincare sets on her birthday. I was the one who sent a handwritten card, and somehow that was proof I wasn't enough. Mom never missed a chance to remind me. "You could learn from Lila," she'd say, stirring her tea with passive-aggressive sweetness. "She makes her husband proud." I'd learned to swallow my resentment, to let her comparisons roll off me. But lately, I'd felt cracks forming in my composure. Because behind all her bragging, I'd noticed something off, something she didn't see. Lila hadn't been answering my calls lately. When I did see her, her smiles were tight, her eyes hollow. Her perfect Instagram life didn't match the tired woman I'd met in the grocery store last week. Shopping alone, sunglasses on indoors, clutching her phone like a lifeline. So, when Mom told me she was visiting Lila's house this weekend to help her with something private, my chest tightened. Something private. That was the same phrase Lila had used last month when she told me, "Don't tell Mom anything about me and Ethan right now, okay?" Ethan. Her husband. I hadn't thought much of it then, but that word private echoed too perfectly between them. And Mom's sharp tone earlier, "You'll never be as good as your sister," carried something else beneath it. Something almost defensive. The next day I couldn't stop thinking about it. I tried to bury myself in work, but every few hours, I caught myself checking my phone, waiting for a text from Lila. Nothing. By evening my curiosity won. I drove to Lila's neighborhood, telling myself it was just to drop off a book she'd lent me. But as I turned the corner to her house, my headlights caught something that made my heart stop. Mom's car. Parked outside. I killed the engine and sat there for a minute, pulse pounding. Why would Mom be there on a Thursday night? I told myself it was innocent. Maybe they were having dinner. Maybe I was being paranoid. But then, through the half-drawn curtains, I saw silhouettes. Two people too close. One woman. Man. And I knew. The blood drained from my face. I stepped out of the car and approached the window quietly, my breath shallow. Inside, I saw Mom sitting on the couch beside Ethan, Lila's husband. His hand was on her thigh. Froze. My mind refused to understand what my eyes saw. My mother. My brother-in-law. The air around me went still, and I could hear nothing but the rush of my own pulse. I wanted to burst through the door, to scream, to shatter every lie that had been built between us. But instead I stumbled back, choking on disbelief. My stomach twisted with nausea, rage, and heartbreak all tangled together. I left without making a sound. That night I didn't sleep. I stared at the ceiling, replaying every conversation. Mom's smug comments, Lila's distance, Ethan's strange politeness the last time I saw him. It all fit now like puzzle pieces snapping into place. The next morning Mom called, her voice sickeningly bright. "Good morning, sweetheart. I was just at Lila's. She's doing fine. You worry too much." I almost laughed. Was Ethan doing fine too? Silence. Then a faint intake of breath. "What do you mean by that?" "You know what I mean," I said, my voice trembling but firm. "You don't have to lie. I saw you, Mom." The pause that followed was endless. I could almost hear her heart beating on the other end. When she finally spoke, her tone cracked. "You don't understand, he loves me. He said he was miserable with her. I didn't mean for it to happen." Her words were daggers, each syllable a confession I'd never wanted to hear. I hung up before I could break. For days, I couldn't bring myself to tell Lila. How do you tell your sister that the two people she trusted most had betrayed her? But the guilt ate at me. Eventually I drove to her house, heart heavy. When she opened the door, she looked exhausted, her face pale. "I already know," she whispered before I could speak. Her voice was calm, eerily calm. "He told me everything last night." Tears stung my eyes. I stepped forward, but she shook her head. "Don't pity me," she said. "Mom's the one who needs it. She's been chasing love she never got. But now she's lost both of us." Her words hung in the air, tragic and final. I hugged her anyway. She didn't cry, but I did, because in that moment, I realized betrayal doesn't always come from strangers. Sometimes it comes from the hands that raised you. And as I drove away later, I thought of Mom sitting alone in her empty house, surrounded by silence. For the first time, I didn't feel small or inadequate. Felt free. She'd sneered that I'd never be as good as my sister. But now I finally understood. Being good wasn't about pleasing anyone. It was about walking away when love turns to poison.